Hey, shalom, shalom. All praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders, a great millstone who rule well, peace, and blessings to you, fellow brothers, pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Ishbachnak, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Quadash. Shalom to the Lord's elect. Okay, this is going to be a walk and talk lesson. Okay, the Lord's will is edifying to the Lord's elect. Okay, shouldn't be too long. We'll see. Trying to at least get like 1 or 2 laps in. A lap is about almost maybe 2 miles or 3 miles, something like that. Close to, I think it's 1.5 actually, or closer to, whatever it may be. Okay, but this is based upon a video that I watched earlier, and it was about this individual. It was this Jake. It was this Jake basically, critiquing Dr. Sebi. In a way, pretty much discrediting, his whole claims of healing and curing particular diseases. And the way, and it's a good video. I mean, it's like almost like a documentary type. I mean, his editing and all that is it's very engaging. I could say the least of that, and he has some type of funding. I'm not sure how big his YouTube channel is, but it's, he quite a bit of followers. Okay, I mean, his page is not, it's really not important. I could put it there. But it was, his critiquing Dr. Sebi and his claims and his products. And there is a cult-like following with Dr. Sebi. There is a cult-like following. I get that. And I don't agree with all of his, his ideology, I guess you can call it, or his style of healing. I mean, I feel it does work. If you change your diet, if you go plant-based, which is in accordance to Daniel, the 1st chapter, the Pulse, okay, right then and there, and you do that for an extended period of time, you're gonna have some great results, okay? And then if you pair it with the right herbal medicine, do some fasting, you can do a lot of different things, okay? But his take on it, he was coming from like a Western way of looking at things, trusting Esau science. Oh, there's no studies on it. And he did bring up some discrepancies with Dr. Sebi. He wasn't an actual doctor, but I'm not sure if people actually, I'm not sure if he called himself a doctor, but other people called him a doctor because of the work that he was doing in the holistic realm. And, from that, when I was watching the video, because he's pretty much debunking everything about Dr. Sebi, and there's no proof, particular herbs can hurt you. And I'll say this, when you look at the research of the herbs, okay, and I've done this many years, when you look at the research of the herbs, you're looking at it more times than not. When you go in, okay, what's the benefit of Gotu Kola? Generally, you're not going to get the Eastern traditional use. I mean, if you dig deep enough, the Eastern practice of how the ancient people, the traditional people use that herb, the information is there, but you're getting it from a Western scientific outlook. They might have did a couple of studies, could have been in vitro, it could have been animal studies, and at the end of the day, they'll say there's no proof or that it can harm you. So if you're looking at things from that viewpoint, you're going to get trapped up, all right? Because ultimately, you trust Esau science. Let me go into a scripture. I just wanted to give you like the basis of where we're going with this video. I was going to do it earlier, but he had like a real condescending, them jakes that are educated, and then he had a dietitian on, which it was a black woman, a dietitian, and you got to go through rigorous schooling, to become a dietitian, and then you got to be registered within your state there's different regulations, and you're working a lot of times in a clinical setting, and you're licensed. See, when Jake gets that license from Esau, then it becomes official. Okay, that doctor title. Okay, that doctor title got a demon on it. Let me bring out a precept. Okay, and pretty much he was the hell with Dr. Sebi. Okay, the point is he was discrediting the natural use of the herbs. And one thing when they discredit it, they never actually study the herbs and how these herbs were used. They're waiting for Esau's permission to say that these things are good. And even the dietitian, when you watch the interview, she was pretty much agreeing that a lot of these things are actually good. Okay, bear with me. Okay, we're gonna go to Isaiah 30. We'll go to Isaiah 31 and Isaiah 30, okay? We'll start at Isaiah 31 first. This is Isaiah 31. And well, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. Remember the whole 2020 thing. The reason why a lot of people took the jump shot is because they actually believed in the science. Okay? They got tripped up in, Esau categorizing everything and telling you that this element is that element, and, the molecular chain, and, the cells. Once Esau start talking like that, niggas they just dropped everything and they were wooed. And I get it. He did have that power to deceive, and it is knowledge. Okay, that is knowledge. But you don't know the truth. You never really understood the human body on that level. Esau, yeah, he can tap into a couple of things. Okay, but that doesn't mean that he has the breakdown. You see what I'm saying? Just because he can look deep into, your body, he can tell you that this is going on, this hormone excretes this. He doesn't tell you that to better you. You still don't know how to heal yourself. And it was all, his whole video was based upon, Dr. Sebi saying that he was able to heal particular diseases. Okay. And his whole goal was to discredit that, because there is a cult-like following to Dr. Sebi and the holistic way of doing things, which even within that it's all corrupted too, because the information is so vast, and these particular practitioners, they overcomplicate things, and they make it to where you have to sound intelligent, you have to sound smart, you have to sound scientific. Meanwhile, the people are still sick. Okay? Woe, and the word woe means destruction. Again, going back to the whole C-19, a lot of niggas took it. A lot of niggas are having problems, and they don't want to admit that the reason why they have those problems is because they trusted in the devil. Why? Is because they trusted in the science. So you got niggas that, okay, are so gun-ho on Esau's science, but meanwhile, his science is killing you. When push comes to shove, he wants to put a chip in you, and he's going to do that under his science. Okay, so the whole system is corrupt. Okay, you can't you can't be in that realm, become a particular doctor, physician, whatever you want to call it, practitioner, and so-called treat people on your own accord. You have to follow his guidelines. You have to use his drugs. Okay, you have to use his system of healing. Okay, which he says that he can't heal you. And if it is some healing, like there was a so-called, you can look it up. It's a relatively new video of them claiming that they healed HIV, but it was from a bone marrow transfer. It was like on accident, a bone marrow transfer where they wipe out the immune system and then they place another bone marrow, in, and then it killed the disease. It's weird. But, niggas that trust Esau All right, it says, woe to them that go down to Egypt. We haven't finished the scripture yet, Salak yet. And stay on horses and trust in chariots. That word stay, let's look at it. I know what it is, but we'll look at it. It means to like rely on, to lean upon. Okay, Jake really leans upon Esau, Edom, okay, for life. Now, I get it. We were in a situation where we didn't know, but now we know. But there's just going to be individuals that can't break out of that programming. They're not part of the elect. See, we understand, that healing comes from the Most High. That was Dr. Sebi's problem. He was on that Afrocentric shit, and he was saying, I did this, I did that, I did that. And did he do some things? He probably did. He probably did. Okay, let's look at this word stay. We know that the Most High, Yahweh Shemashai, is the one, like somebody got evicted. Shit. The Most High is the one that heals. That word is sha'ain, to lean on, trust in, support. Okay, to lean upon, support oneself. So Jake has been supported. The scriptures go in the curses, Deuteronomy 28th chapter. How should we should go to the want of all things, want in need of all things from our enemies. Okay, the so-called take care of ourselves, we got to tap in with Esau's system. But the true understanding is that the Most High put us in this position. But now we're at a level where we're breaking away because the devil, he's requiring something more of you. Okay, he wants to be inside you. Okay, he wants to put his technology inside you. All right, going back to 2020, that was a technology that just, Jake trusted in it because what? Esau started to say, hey, look, nigga, you wanna go to clubs? You wanna go? These are my clubs, by the way. You wanna travel? I'm the one who allows you to travel or not. You wanna get on my airplanes? These are my airplanes. Okay, you wanna go to these jobs? These are my jobs. Okay, you wanna go to these restaurants? Yeah, a Moabite, a Chinese, it might be a Chinese restaurant, but who owns the infrastructure? Who can allow businesses to be open or not? So this is my shit. So if you want to be part of my system, you better do what I say. Your ass better be vaccinated. Okay? Just like your children, you want to send your children off to school, which is nothing other than daycare. So so the parents can go to work and be able to pay for the bills. It's not like you have multiple women. That's shunned upon. He doesn't want that. He doesn't allow that. You have a couple of wives, and then you have a wife to take care of the children. Do you know how much more wealth can be accumulated? He doesn't want that. You'll look down upon the Eastern way of things, okay, and you'll lift up the Western way of things. Okay, before we go, I'm gonna go hit another scripture, because we're coming back to the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of our power, of our God, and is looked down upon. Okay, even more so, from our people, it's pretty much discredited, and we might go into that. The poor man's wisdom is despised. Okay, when we say particular things and we do particular things, people are not looking at us like we're authorities. Okay, which, hey, that's okay. It's not a big deal. We don't care. Ultimately, the Most High is going to set us up to as those authorities, which in the spirit we are authorities. Right? Jeremiah, the first chapter, the Lord, He has set this day, set you over. Let me go to it. I'm about to butcher, and then we'll go to Sirach 39. This is Jeremiah, the first chapter. Right? Jeremiah 1:10. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant. So in the spirit, which is going to manifest physically, okay, through the prophecies of Yahweh Shemashai, the Lord, He's going to lift up His people, starting with the elect, starting with the prophets, 144,000, the men of the Lord. And they're going to come after us. Remember, we're not of this world. Okay? If we were of this world, the world will love their own. So since we're not of this world, what? The world hateth us. Okay, and we get that. Okay, so let me go to Sirach 39. Okay, Jake is still, you have the doctor, you have the what's it called, the dietitian, which is different from a nutritionist. A dietitian, they gotta go through, they have to go through school. They have to go to school, get your degree, and then they gotta go through a 4-year program, and then they gotta do a residency. It's a big fucking scam, okay? And guess what? Everybody's still sick. All right, Esau's measures of how to heal disease, it's not even healing disease. It's at best, it's treating it. It's just putting a Band-Aid on. It's nothing but witchcraft. But you know what? Our people, they trust in that because, again, he does have power on the left-hand side. He can cut you open. Okay, he can sew you up. He can look inside you with different machinery. Yeah, that can woo you if you're of this world. Okay, if you don't know that there's something better than that. Okay, in the time to come, the men of the Lord are gonna have power to heal. Esau don't have power to heal. The best he can do is put a fucking chip in you and put a robot exoskeleton on you and have you walking like the goddamn Terminator. Or, one of them robots from the 1950s. Okay, bear with me. I'm sipping some tea. This is Go-To Cola and ginger. Ginger is going to be the stimulant to push the Go-To Cola in the brain. Okay. Sirach 39. Right, Sirach 39 and 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof, our mind is on the scriptures and what the scriptures say about healing, what the scriptures say about this, what the scriptures say about that. That's where our mind is at. That's what we know and believe to be true. Not everybody believes that. They believe what they see. They believe in America, our people. They trust in the shadow of Egypt. Okay, we're going to go back to Isaiah 31, Isaiah 30. Lord's will also hit Isaiah, the 10th chapter. I believe it's the 10th chapter, 20th verse. We'll hit that too. Okay, because there's going to be we could go to, what is that? Isaiah. Is that Isaiah 30 or Jeremiah 30? We'll get it. We'll get it. No worries. Lord's will. All right. We'll seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecy. So our mind is on the wisdom of the ancient. What does the scripture say? To seek out the old path. Let's look at that. Seek out old path. Where is that at? Bear with me. It's like the old path or the old way. I may Google it. Jeremiah 6. Okay, Jeremiah 6 and 16. And then I want to get, I believe that's Jeremiah 52. We'll get that. Where am I? Jeremiah 6 and 16. Right. Jeremiah 6 and 16. Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the way. What, again, you have our people that don't believe that they're Israelites. They just believe that they're black. And you know what? That's good for them. That's good for, that's a good enough that they're black or they're part of the African diaspora. Never took their black ass to Africa. Never been anywhere. Maybe they are cultured. Maybe they are one of those Negroes that are cultured. You know what I mean? That, that are educated. But for the most part, Jake never been anywhere and okay where they're at because they're comfortable. Again, they're comfortable, but the prophecy is getting ready and it's already making people uncomfortable. Okay? And we're already in an uncomfortable situation. We're literally catching hell every single fucking day. And the time that things are actually going good, you kind of looking over your shoulder. I mean, I don't know about this, man. This is just a little bit too good. So you just waiting for, it's fucked up, but you waiting for something bad to happen, but again, we are, what it says, be vigilant. Okay, your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, seeketh whom he may devour. Also, Yahushua spoke about he send us forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. You have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. We understand Esau's going to come down. He's going to persecute us. We understand that, our wives can bug out. Any of our family members can bug out. A brother next to you can bug out. Okay, we're in the shadow of death. All right, but again, the Psalm of David, we fear no evil. Okay, we to the best of our ability, we walk and stay in the spirit. Okay, and we're looking at things through the eyes of spiritual lenses, contrary to the eyes of carnal lenses. And it has gotten our people in a bad, terrible state that they're in, being carnally minded. Well, to be carnally minded, okay, is enmity with the Most High, your enemy. So pretty much, Jake, our people, so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, they're enemies of the Most High. And when you open up the scriptures and you tell them they literally get mad. They get mad. Isn't that crazy? But it's not crazy once you understand who you're dealing with. Okay, the scriptures is a history book on how our people, not only treated the Most High, treated themselves, but also treated the prophets. Okay, Jeremiah 6:16. Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. And again, this dude, he's critiquing Dr. Sebi. I mean, again, I don't agree with everything Dr. Sebi says, but who am I? You know what I mean? It's not, you don't have to agree, the alkalinity thing, or all those things do make sense. Okay, and he was like heavy into the African herbs and Mama Africa and all that. And he was Haitian, by the way. He was Haitian that grew up in Ecuador. Okay, so he was Levi. Okay. I'm not going to say that. Let me stop. Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the paths. Where is the good way? Again, I was saying, going back to what I was saying, is he's discrediting pretty much the holistic route. Oh, there's no scientific study. Nigga, we don't need no fucking scientific study to tell me that eating ginger is good for digestion. I don't need Esau to do a study on that. Okay, I don't need Esau to tell me that this herb is bad, that herb is when there's a long tradition of these herbs being used by many different indigenous peoples with success. And documentation on how they used it. I don't need Esau to tell, but we do have that today. It basically, when you really can read and go through and dig through the literature and actually understand how Esau Edom is speaking, he will tell you it does work. Okay, I mean, I can't even tell you how much of that information I've read to where it's like Esau's the devil. Okay, because he'll discourage you. And it's nothing but fear tactics, because here it is. You'll have a herb. Let's go, for example, you have juniper, and you'll read about juniper, and he'll say, oh, yeah, study, it does, But he said, you can don't only use it for 2 weeks. It can actually harm your kidney, and there's not enough information on that, oxalates, and it will deter someone from taking juniper. And then it doesn't really tell you how much to take, or it tells you that, in a study, a rat study, nigga, we're not rats. Okay, first and foremost, but he'll deter you from taking it. Okay, when that's literally the herb that you needed. Now, is there a skill within herbalism? Yes, absolutely. You do have to know what you're doing. You can harm yourself. These are, they are natural herbs, so it's a lot less damage you can do on these well-known herbs. Now, if you're doing, low dose poisonous herb, I can't help you. That's, if you want to take, hemlock. Hemlock can be used as a medicine. I wouldn't use it. I'm not that skilled. Neither I don't feel like you know, it has been used historically as a medicine, but you had individuals actually die from it because it's a certain herbs are poisonous. You have to process them, like cascara sagrada. It's usually processed for a whole year. It's dried. The bark is dried for a year before it's even used. Okay, because it's just it'll be too, it will purge too much. Okay, where you can purge unto death. You have an American mandrake. You have to use that in a very low dose. You could purge too hard. It can you know, kill a child. Okay, so there is a skill to it. You do have to have some common knowledge, but he completely disregards the holistic way, and he pushes. And he's a young Jake, and it's, you know, probably early 30s. Pushes Esau's shit, and guess what? Well, since you trust in Esau, when this nigga come out with the chip, and it's going to be associated with the medical system, it's already written. It's already written those laws. I believe it's like a class, I don't know, a class 2 or class 3, something like that, medical device or chips. Okay, you gonna have to tap into a science again. Okay, you gonna have to trust his science again. Well, you already trust it, and a lot of Jake is gonna be deceived, and Esau is gonna use the carrot and the stick as always, but it's gonna come down even harder. Okay, he's gonna come down even harder, and you're gonna see these Jakes that you thought that were standing stiff, they're gonna tap in with Esau's technology. Okay. It says, where is the good way, and walk therein? The good way, the scriptures talk about us taking the herbs. That's the good way. Now, the only thought now is, okay, how do I take it? What is the knowledge of taking the herbs? But then when you do the research and you tap in with Esau said, no, don't take that. Do my chemo. And then you'll have Jake that will agree, oh, well, you know, the medical system, they don't want you to know the cure, you know. They, you know, it's no money in the cure, you know. They just, you know, they want to kill you. But a nigga go right to the doctor the next day. Not saying you shouldn't go to the doctor. Not saying that. But there is no movement in the direction of going natural. Jake likes eating the fake foods, and it doesn't harm them. You have individuals that can eat these different foods, and they still moving and grooving. Yeah, they might, you know, have particular discomforts or, you know, whatever, but they're still doing what they're doing. They're still going to work. They're still doing this, still doing that, still, you know. So it don't really bother them like that. So they're looking at it like, I don't know what you're talking about. And you got a lot of people that are just walking around hella toxic too. You know, the nigga discredited parasites, and, you know, one of them smart, dumb niggas, you know, that, you know, likes to quote out information, you know, especially scientific information. Well, you know, the cell, it actually does this and it does that, and mitochondria, like, bro, stop. Words easy to be understood. I ain't never seen a mitochondria. Okay, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? I'm sick. All right, and even Dr. Sebi, he did an intercellular. Okay, whatever. How you doing? All right. Let me read it again. Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways and seek and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. There you go. We understand the breakdown. We understand these Jakes, man. We understand these Jakes, so-called blacks, in particular, especially, but the Latin tribes as well. They don't want to walk in the way of the Most High. Okay? They want to do what they've been doing. What does the scripture say? He that is ignorant, let him be ignorant still. Okay, let me get that. Okay? Let me read verse 17 first, though. Also, I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. They don't want to listen. Okay, they do not want to listen. Nevertheless, we're going to tell them whether they hear or whether they forbear. Why? Because that is a commandment that we've been given. And as the Lord told Ezekiel, be not, how did he say? In not so many words, be not stubborn like the children of Israel are, but open thy mouth and eat these words. Okay? Eat the word. So the Lord, he gave us the understanding and ability, because remember, he called us to be able to eat these words. So we know we're called. Lord's will, we're chosen. We move like we're chosen in a sense that we do the work. We give diligence to make our call and election sure. And then we understand that ultimately the Most High just blinded them. And you kind of can get mad or upset at times, but then you have to sit back and you have to look at things spiritually, and you either say, they don't got it. All right. But it's going to be very, very soon. Okay. Very soon, where the Heavenly Father, he's going to make it known who his chosen are. Just like I had a dream. I say it every once in a while. I had a dream that raised a brother from the dead. And you had a lot of our people, Jake, like, I guess in a sense they seen it or heard it. And they started to chase me down. And I ran into the elevator, the movie scene where, you're running away from a villain or whatever it may be. You're trying to get away and you're going to an elevator. Okay. And I'm hitting the button, the elevator's closing, and they all rush in and say, heal me, heal me, heal me, heal me, heal me. And I look out and say, the power don't even work. Okay. Because why? Why wouldn't the power work? Because it's faith. What did Yahushua tell those that he healed? By thy faith thou hast been healed. It wasn't because he knew a particular science. Okay. The scribes and the Pharisees, they rejected being healed. Okay, because they didn't believe. Okay, how should I say? Well, at least believe on me by the very work's sake. Here it is. You got a man that's being, pretty much what happened with Dr. Sebi was, supposedly he was healing all these different diseases, through his clinic. And you had the federal government, they sent spies. They sent spies in, and they was Jake. They sent spies in to pretty much see if he was treating diseases as a medical doctor. Okay? So that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to see if he was practicing medicine without a license. So when they took him to court, he actually won because those spies, those agents that they sent, weren't able to basically prove that he was treating disease. Okay, which is a completely different thing when you're in a holistic realm. You're not treating disease. Okay, neither should you claim because of Esau and what his laws, his regulations, he has a corner on that market. Okay, you can't say that you heal. And again, the Most High heals. Again, healing comes from the Most High. It tells you that in Sirach, the 38th chapter. Bear with me. Okay. So Esau, which just shows you that, Esau, he has agents and spies, okay, infiltrators that are not there to, be sincere, but they're there to gather intelligence. So when that appointed time Esau wants to come down upon you, he has a long list of intelligence, okay, to basically persecute you and lock your ass up. And that's what he's doing with the Hebrew Israelites as well. You have some of these leaders, they're all assets. Okay, like General Yohana, Nathaniel 7, these guys are assets. You had Nathaniel, he was a detective. And when you get into, let the dogs bark, okay? When you get in to be a cop, especially up there as a detective, you come into a brotherhood, which you basically become a Mason. You know, you're pretty much within that boule. So you do have Jakes. A lot of these Jakes, you'll even have, certain Jakes in these, not even nice neighborhoods, but they'll be like, they have own a home or whatever. They went to college. They'll be Masons that'll have it. They'll wear the ring. They'll have it on the back of their car, and it's a brotherhood. Okay, it's a brotherhood. So you have individuals that are within this Hebrew Israelite thing that are there, whether they're sales, okay, particular agents for whatever intelligence agency, FBI, CIA, whether they're local cops, whatever it may be. They have handlers, whatever they may be, that are there to try to trap you up. And we get it. We know what they're going to do. But again, we're not doing anything illegal, but they're going to make what we're doing, they're going to outlaw what we're doing and blame us. That's what the devil can do. But guess what? Who can lay any charge against the Most High's elect? Okay, and some of us will have our heads chopped off. So you must be also prepared to get your head chopped off. Okay, what does the scripture say? They love not their lives unto the death. So once Esau is motherfucking chopping motherfuckers' heads off, he's out of there. He got to go to that extreme. In a righteous society, you wouldn't have to do that unless somebody's doing something illegal, But he doesn't prosecute illegal behavior. He prosecutes righteous behavior. Righteous judgment never goes forth. Okay. And a lot of you Jakes, man, ultimately, you're going to get caught up in this thing. You're going to get caught up trusting in Esau, trusting in his science. Remember, trust the science. You're a champion for his science. You get wooed because, look, the elemental table. Look, the fucking element's been there. Okay, Esau hasn't done anything special. Now, he has done something special in a sense that none of the heathen nations were able to accomplish it. But he didn't do it in the name of the Yahweh Shema Shai. He did it in the name of Satan. Okay? And Satan does have power on the left-hand side. All right? But again, it works until it doesn't work. And we're at a point to where he's at the height of his witchcraft through his AI, through his deep fakes, all right, through his radio frequency technology, okay, through his heat-seeking missiles, okay? And he's able to, show forth false miracles. And those that are not opened up to the spirit, the righteous spirit, they get trapped up in that. Okay, they line up, go to Esau, trust in this damn devil. And every single time, they lose. Every single fucking time. It's not a time that a nigga won. Okay? But they don't know no, Jake don't know no better. Okay? People speeding. Let me get out of this way. People speeding like crazy. Black drivers, they'll be speeding in a residential area. Let me go back to the scripture. Yes, let's go back to Isaiah 31. Okay. Isaiah 31:1 says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay upon horses." We got that word stay, which means to lean upon or to rely on. Okay. And then it says, because they are many, and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. And what does our people say? Oh, America, that they have the strongest military. We have the strongest military, so we gonna be okay. Nobody can mess with us. Nobody can touch us. America's getting ready to be touched. This is why the scriptures equate America, okay, to Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. The daughter of Babylon. All right, because she's as a version. Because when you go throughout all different land masses, especially empires, they've all went through catastrophic regime change, wars. Okay, whether Europe was bombed. Okay, there's wars in Russia. but really nothing happened on a level here in Babylon the Great. But this is going to be the greatest thing that's ever happened, thermonuclear missiles. And this technology, as I was watching earlier, Colonel Daniel, or is it Daniel Davis? Okay, basically, and he was with this one other guy, he's a technical analyst, okay, that works with like admirals and colonels to pretty much, explain the technology, because the generals and all that, they don't make the technology. The scientists, the Smith, they make the technology, and you have these technical individuals that understand the technology and they break it down and say, hey, look, this is happening here. This, so you got to also have the technical guys. So he's a technical analyst, and he was going into how the new missiles, he can tell you pounds per, he can tell you the explosive power of this, he goes deep. He's like, look, man, these missiles cannot, the Oreshnik, which is Russia's hypersonic missile, and then you have the Al-Fashad, I might be pronouncing it not completely correctly, okay, that's Iran's technology. But they're saying that's on a higher technology, what he was saying, than, or more destructive power than Russia's hypersonic. And he said, look, these cannot, it doesn't matter whether America has any Patriot missiles or not, okay, any long-range missile defense systems or not, okay, these missiles cannot be, all right, they cannot be intercepted, okay? That's how fast they're going. So if they chose to shoot the missiles are going to hit their target. Okay, we're at that point where there is a mutual assured destruction, but you can see how the Most High, he's in control of these things, because anybody in their right mind would negate war. But we're in the time of war. Wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near. Joel, the 3rd chapter. So prophecy ultimately is going to reign supreme, and everybody's going to have to bow down to Yahweh Shai ultimately. At the end of the day, and if you don't, okay, well, off with your head, as the scriptures say. The Most High going to take you out. Okay? It says, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. They don't look to Yahweh Bashim Shai for healing. They don't look, okay, what should we do? And if they do, they go to a religious leader that was set up by the so-called white man. See, and this is the thing, our people don't consider, okay, Esau as an enemy. They literally look at him, I wouldn't even say they look at him as they don't look at him as a brother. They look at him as a father. They look at him as a father figure, they do. Okay, why did Yahweh Shai say, ye are of your father the devil? Who was he talking about? Was he talking about the spiritual demon Satan? No, he was talking about the physical counterpart, okay, the so-called white man, because the Romans were in power at that time. Esau was in power. So everything is playing out all over again. The same individuals that were ruling back then are here in America, and the same individuals that were back then as slaves are here in America, and also all the other tribes, because Judah and Israel are pressed together. And that's actually, let me go there before we go to Isaiah. Isaiah the 30th chapter. I believe it's Jeremiah 50. I believe there's a precept I wanted. Jeremiah 50. And okay, that's not what I wanted. I think it's let me see. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Isaiah 30 and 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity, which we could have read Jeremiah 50 and 33, but basically goes into how both kingdoms were oppressed together here in Babylon the Great. Okay, you got the southern kingdom, which comprised of the so-called black tribe or Negro tribes, Haitians, West Indians, those of that sort, and then the so-called native indigenous tribes, okay, so-called Mexicans and Puerto Ricans and Seminole Indians, and you know what I mean? And again, we're being attacked on a level that we're not Israelites. Okay, like the guy Vocab Malone. And you know what? Good. Keep. You know, he's doing a good job. Keep it going. Keep it going. Vocab. Do your job. Satan got you on a mission. Okay. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, which is slavery, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thy eyes shall see thy teachers. And guess what? The majority of our people, they reject the teachings of the teachers that come from the Heavenly Father. And then the ones that they do accept are the false teachers. They're leading you astray while taking your money. And you know what? They love it. Jake loves it. Jake loves giving up their money to the false prophets. And guess what? Pretty much the majority of the time, when you have somebody that's telling you the truth, let's just say, you know, the right prophets, you're not going to be rich. Because number one, you're not going to take advantage of the sheep. And again, this is a poor and afflicted people. So you have, you feel for our people. You know, we're poor. We're all poor. You ain't got no money. Maybe you might have $50,000 in your bank. You're poor. Esau wiped that shit out. One tragic event is wiped out. Okay, you holding on to that. When the system collapses, gone. But since the system is still here, you know, people still have, you know, they still trust in it, because they're like, what do you nigga? You niggas are tripping. What are you talking about? I got a bag right now. You see, you broke. That's why you acting like that. Okay. The script. What does the scripture say? Riches profit not in the day of wrath. So our whole existence, okay, you know, us being down here, we're not down here, especially now that we came to the knowledge of the truth. Our whole life is not chasing after fucking money. Again, you're chasing it. That's stupid. Okay, you're chasing money. Okay, money, and whose face is on that money? Okay, who face is on that money? Esau's face. It's not even, and nigga, it's not even real money. But since you can buy things with it, you know, you become deceived. Okay, Esau loves jakes like that. Okay, so really, you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you don't have nothing to say, really, in all actuality. Okay, you don't have nothing. You should just humble down and shut up. All right, and just get prepared for a lot of you gonna get drafted. Cause you, man, I might have to pop a bottle when they declare that draft. If we're even in a position to do that, you never know. We could be in Jacob's trouble. Okay, but even within Jacob's trouble, we're gonna eat. All right, we're gonna drink. We're gonna have some wine. We're gonna have a bottle, some tequila or whatever it may be, some cognac. And I just want to see the faces on these YNs. I just want to see the faces on these niggas that rejected Yahweh Shem Shai as their name gets called. That's sweet. When the tides turn, man, oh man, when these women, when reality hits these women, you know what? We're gonna reject a lot of women. Okay, a lot of women are gonna be rejected. Okay, and you're gonna get chipped up. All right, and you know what? To hell with you. All right, the only ones that we care about is the elect. We'll reunite with the 2/3 in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, when it's all good, when they come through as children, they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back as our children. How the nation gonna come back? Okay, in thy ears shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left, and even within, even the taking the herbal medicine also too. That's part of it. When you're sick, not only when you're sick, but taking it in a preventative way, understanding what this is. It's not necessarily you're doing it to heal something. You're doing it as a preventative measure, what Esau called a prophylactic. Look that word up. Okay, let's go to Okay, we're in Isaiah 30. We'll just go to the top. Isaiah 30 and 1, and then we'll go to Isaiah 10. Okay, Isaiah 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord. Well, again, woe meaning destruction. Who's the rebellious children? Is it talking about Esau? He's not a child of the Most High. Okay, the rebellious children are the Israelites that refuse to come back, that refuse to return, that refuse to call themselves Israel, or refuse to follow the right way. But really, it all goes down to the Most High don't want them to follow him. The Lord wants to destroy a lot of Israelites. And see, we look at them, Joe, man. The Lord want to take Joe out. The Lord want to take Unc out, Big Mama out. Okay? That take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, this is speaking about spiritual Egypt, okay? And have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt, okay? And a shadow is like your protection, and the protection of America is not going to be able to save you. Esau is not going to be able to protect his own self. See, we're coming into a time where it's every man for themselves. All the deals that Esau made with you so-called Negroes, Hispanic, Native Americans, that shit is going out the window, man. Why? Because his ass is on the line now. Okay? So he's trying to figure out, okay, how can I survive? Okay? All right, that pact that Eve made with Eve trying to save himself. You think he gonna care about you so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans? Okay, when society collapsed, he don't give a shit. He was treating you nothing but like a bed wench. You were nothing but a bed wench to the so-called white man. And guess what? You still are. But you're still divesting. Okay? Because you believe in his system, because you still have comfort. You have been deceived. All right, and we're warning, we're throwing out the warning. Okay, we're blowing the trumpet. Take it how you want to take it. Okay, it's what they say is my prerogative. Do what you want to do. And you know what I come to learn? Just the small time I've been down here. It's Jake gonna do whatever the hell Jake wanna do. Okay? People gonna do what they wanna do, whether it's the best decision for them or not. Okay, everybody is locked into their programming. Okay? And the only thing that we should focus on is the inward man or the inward woman doing what we gotta do. Okay, serving our power, making sure that we're right in his eyes, because everything else falls in the line. We're not here to please people. We're not here to be nice and to cater to people's emotions. Fuck all that, man. Okay, this place is getting ready to be hit by thermonuclear fire. Your emotions don't matter. And again, by you not believing it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. You can believe that. You can. What is it? Michael Jackson, I believe I can fly. He can't fly. He just believed he can fly. Okay? So it was nothing but delusion. But guess what? Our belief is actually going to turn into reality when we receive those powers. So who's going to have the last laugh at the end of the day? Well, it's going to be Al Bashamal Shai and his elect. Okay? Bear with me. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. You know what? I want to get 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. Okay. All right. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 68. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you." Yeah, the so-called white man that you love so much, he's preparing to come down on you, to blame you, and then come down upon you and to put your ass to death, put you in camps. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? We equal. God said we equals. We equals. Okay. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. That thing offered unto idol is a chip. And they that consent, I mean, you agree, unto them, because remember, they're not going to force you to do it. They're not going to actually put it inside you. Just like they didn't stick you with the jumpy jab, the jump shot. They didn't stick you. They didn't grab you and put it inside you. They didn't force you to do it. What did you do? Your dumb ass believe, you know, whether you believe that you wanted, even whether you didn't want to take it or not, but in your mind you had to. You got forced into the matter. Okay. You got the so-called white man. He put a little pressure on your dumb ass, and you went ahead and you did it. And now years later, you're suffering the consequences, but you don't want to affirm that it is what you know in your heart of hearts that that's what it is. Because after you took that, you started getting fucked up, and you've never been the same. Okay, a lot of women been having reproductive issues, fibroids, cysts, okay, endometriosis, okay. They be having to get their uteruses removed. Okay, a lot of people been having fucking problems. A lot of men been having heart problems, myocarditis. Okay, congestive heart failure. Okay, just dropping dead like flies, and that's exactly what Esau wanted to happen. And guess what? You can't do nothing about it. And when you bring up this information, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. Okay, because you are crazy. You're crazy for believing and trusting trusting your enemy. But when we say not to do it, we're just dumb niggas. Okay, cool. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Okay, and who are those that fear the Lord? Well, those are the Israelites. Okay, we fear the Lord, all Jake, in so many forms or fashions. Okay, their fear is taught by the priests of men, but nevertheless, you have our people that do have somewhat of a godly fear. It's not focused on the right path. Okay, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. And that's going to be the hour of temptation. Okay. And they're going to, whatever excuse it's going to be crazy. Put it like that. It's going to be crazy. Okay. But at that time, the elect, they're going to stand firm. Okay. And they're not going to give in. They're not going to give in to the devil. Okay. Isaiah 10, last verse. Last verse, Isaiah 10, I believe it's 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay. Remember we read that stay in Isaiah the 31st chapter, which mean what word is that? Zayin? I don't know if it's Zayin. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go into it. It basically means to rely on, to trust in. Okay. Right. The word stay. Sha'ain. That's what it is. Not Zayin. Sha'ain. All right. Shall no more stay or trust or lean upon him that smote them. Who smote us? Esau. He's still spiting us. But shall stay, which rely, trust, upon the Lord, Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. See? So that's a clear distinction that the elect remnant, they're going to trust in Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, trust in his knowledge, his wisdom, understanding the old way. All right, because again, our tradition is that we understand that healing comes from the Most High. Okay. And we trust in that. There's a bat. So I'm going to close it there until next time. Shalom to the elect.